Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. It's great to talk to you all tonight and share some of this information. My name is Katie Bender. I am a special education administrator in Washoe County School District, and my co-presenter today is Jody Rogers. We're going to be talking to you a little bit about distance learning and how this looks for our preschoolers. And so we have some good information for you as far as how to keep them attending and some tips for you for learning at home.
So we want to start tonight by recognizing that this year is unusual, and we know that distance learning is new for all of us. Tonight,
Katie, unfortunately, Jody's internet seems to be glitching. So if Jody, if you want to stop your video for now, and maybe that might make it better. And Katie, if you could just kind of.
Sure.
Thank you.
Sure, I'll pick up. So what we were going to tell you is this is new to all of us, adults, students, teachers. And so we're all trying to learn techniques of how we can be more successful with distance learning at home. And we've come up with this list of ideas that do create some success for student learning at home. We're going to talk about schedules and setting schedules and routines within our home environment as well, just like we would see in a classroom. We're going to talk about setting expectations and helping both adults and our children adhere to those expectations. We will talk about rewards and how those can help incentivize our students or help them be more motivated. We'll talk about student engagement, and of course, communication between the home and school is always very, very important. So this slide talks to you a little bit about schedules and routines. And what we wanted to stress to you is the importance of setting schedules. Just like your child follows a schedule throughout the school day while they're at the building, setting a schedule and following that at home really helps to set expectations and create some areas for success throughout the day. One major point of a routine consistent for students at home is it creates predictability, or the ability for the child to know what's coming next, and then there isn't any unknown, things are known for that child, and so they're not worried about what they might be wanting to do, and they'll be able to see what is coming up. Schedules at home can be both pictures or words. You may see a lot of picture schedules, and we actually have an example tonight of a video with picture schedules. And in classrooms, we often have picture schedules so the students can see their circle time, the centers, washing hands, lunchtime, and then eventually we add words to those pictures, and they can help, it'll help them learn those words as well. And having a similar routine each day will help with distance learning, as the child will begin to learn the process at home and become more independent with learning those tasks while you're at home.
So one way to support routines and structure for your family is to create picture schedules at home, like the one that you see above on the screen. Picture schedules help create predictability for our youngest learners. It can cut down on the anxiety that they feel around what they will be doing that day and give them a feeling of control. This helps cut down on behaviors like Katie had said. We have a video for you to watch as an example of how picture schedules are used in a classroom. We would like you to think about a routine or a schedule at home that you may be able to model the same method with.
Good time. using a visual schedule, we're able to give the children a sense of what the sequence of the day is going to be. But we also have a history to the day. So each time we look at the schedule, we say, first we played, and then what did we do? And I call on everybody. And if something happens that we have to change our schedule for any reason at all. So for instance, if it starts to rain, and then Sophie, are we going outside today? No. Usually we go outside right after group, but not today. It's a rainy, snowy day. I like to give them a chance to participate in what's happening during their day. And everything is not written in stone. There's a lot of flexibility. When our music therapist comes, we put the picture up and they come in and they look at the schedule and they say, Music Gina's coming today. So it gives everybody that chance to spread good news. We're going to have group, and then we're going to have Music Gina. I'm going to ask you a question. And it's very, very helpful. And helping those kids organize themselves, but it's also very helpful in eliminating the amount of reminding and talking that the staff have to do.
So you may have noticed as part of the video that she had actual pictures of events and the people that were going to be coming. You may find it helpful, if you can see on that first bullet point, to use a form that works for your family and use pictures to help support their understanding. You can take pictures of your child doing certain activities and use that as the picture for your schedule.
So as Jody mentioned before, we wanted you to take this little minute to think about a routine at home that is difficult. And I think as parents, we all know there are some things that are harder to get done consistently without a lot of coaxing. And maybe in the same thought, think about a routine that goes well and some of the differences in those routines. And when you think about that, we talk about setting expectations and letting our children know those expectations. So things like getting up and getting dressed, following the routine at home as far as it's time to brush our teeth, get our jammies on, read a story, go to bed. Looking at our behavioral expectations at home, paying attention when we need them to follow some directions, and then of course completing or following through with those directions. All of these are expectations that we can set as adults, and when we follow our routines, they help the students or the children adhere to those expectations. If we communicate these expectations regularly and then follow through with them, it helps our children have a concrete understanding of what we're expecting and then create some more independence in these areas.
So a major component of early childhood is helping students learn to increase their self-control and label their own emotions. We all know that distance learning can cause anxiety and frustration for ourselves and our children. Children often get frustrated when working if the work is difficult or if they need a break. We can help our youngest learners learn to regulate their emotions by helping them label their feelings as they happen and then provide strategies for them to deal with those emotions in the moment. We can do that by asking your child, what are you feeling? Are you frustrated? Or labeling the feeling for them. Right now, I can see that you are angry. I think that you are tired. So we can start to recognize triggers that have made these feelings occur, hopefully reducing those triggers, those negative ones, with our picture schedules and routines for predictability. We can use calming activities such as brain breaks, breathing exercises, or listening to a favorite song, maybe moving to a quiet area where they can rest and recover. And then be present, be an active listener as a parent. When they're trying to tell you that they feel a certain way, we're going to acknowledge that feeling and help them deal with it in the moment.
And of course, for all of our children, big and little, we want to celebrate all of their accomplishments and really help provide the positive praise for following through with the routines that we've set or the expectations that we've set with our students. And so we would love to catch them being good all the times we see them trying to follow through, even though they may need some prompting now and then. Did they come through with the expectation we had set? Did they try and get up and do the next step by themselves? And so we talk a lot in the schools about giving 5 positive comments to our students for every 1 redirection that we give. So we would love to catch them and say, great job sitting in your chair. Even though that's what they're supposed to be doing, they're following through, they're complying. Making sure that you are always celebrating the accomplishments they're making. And many times these accomplishments can just be developmental milestones that we're looking for in our preschool age children. So like sharing, that's a very hard task for preschool age children. And we would love to celebrate when they do share. Or transitioning from one activity to another, especially an unpreferred activity or from a preferred activity like being at the park to an unpreferred activity like coming inside. That can often be really challenging for our preschoolers. And so we love to set that routine, create the expectation, and then celebrate when they follow through.
And more than anything, we want to encourage families to get involved with their students' learning. Engagement is really the key to learning. If we're not involved, we're not going to learn. So we do want you to be with your child. We want you to be involved in activities. We want you to be communicating with parents or teachers. But we do want to make sure that you also know mistakes are okay for your child to make. It's not necessary for you to help them through every activity so that it's perfect. We all learn through mistakes. One of the things that you could do as a parent is repeat activities with your child that you've seen your teacher do, maybe reread a book, rewatch a video, do another art project. All of these things, these repeated activities are important for mastery for your child. Nobody learns anything just doing something one time. So we would encourage when you have free time, maybe on the days that you're not with the teacher, for you to repeat activities that you've seen would be amazing. And to remember too that preschool children learn through play, both outside and inside. We have the big kind of play for gross motor, kicking a ball, jumping, running, skipping that we would do outside, but we also have important imaginary play that they should be doing inside as well. So we want to encourage a lot of play. Children learn through play at this level, and it's super important that we provide the opportunity, the time, and the environment for them to do so. Let's try to remember that it takes the parent, the child, and the teacher all working together to be successful.
Oops. And so Jody had mentioned communication. And we have found through distance learning that communication can be quite overwhelming. I know that as a family, you get many calls all the time, different types of outreach, emails, class dojos, lots of different outreach from different members at the school. And so what we would like to stress is that communication is key to help us keep in contact with you. And we would like it to be positive and understand that it may be too much. So as long as you have one key person in mind and you communicate that plan to us, that would be the best way that we can keep discussing the student successes that we're seeing at home and how we can help support you at home with distance learning. Sometimes we even build a schedule to communicate so that we're not bombarding you with too many calls per day. maybe you only want 1 or 2 calls from this person, 1 or 2 calls from another teacher, things like that. So the important thing is to keep communicating and for us to always talk about the good things that are happening, as well as when you need some more support or what's not going so well, but we'd love to hear the successes too.
And to add to what Katie was saying, we want to remind you to ask questions. None of us have done this before, and we are here to support you. So it's very important to keep in touch with your child's teacher and let them know when you need support. Ask questions because changes can always be made. And we don't know if you don't tell us. So, like Katie said, teachers want to know when things are not going well so that we can support you, but they also want to know when things are going really well too. Remember, teachers share ideas between families. So if you have something that's going really well for your family, maybe you had a schedule that you changed or an activity that you decided to do with your student that really helped out, share that with your teacher because they will in turn share it with a family who may be struggling. And we want to make sure we get that information out. But above all else, we want to make sure that your questions are answered and you get the support that you need.